We've all experienced the burning enthusiasm at the beginning of the year, making grand resolutions like, this year I'm going to be super productive and be the best version of myself. But then, a week goes by, then 2 weeks, and suddenly we end up binge watching our favorite series while saying, I'll start getting serious tomorrow. The problem is that tomorrow often never comes. We know exactly what to do, start a sport, work on a project, study, but still no real action results. Guilt begins to creep in, and slowly we start to feel like failures. Then we justify it by saying, okay, that's just me. But the problem is deeper than just laziness. It's about a repeating cycle of having ambitions, not starting, feeling guilty, giving up, and then starting over again next year with the same resolution, like a song that keeps replaying without an end. This cycle not only makes us stuck, but also destroys our sense of self-trust. So how do we get out of this vicious circle? Let's dismantle the root of the problem in the next chapter. Many people say, I'm too distracted because of social media, so they quickly delete all the applications or use Do Not Disturb mode. But the problem isn't solved yet. Procrastination is like an iceberg. Distraction is only what's visible on the surface. But underneath, there's a giant called inertia. Inertia is a simple physics concept. Objects tend to stay still if there's no one pushing them. Well, it turns out that our brains are exactly the same. We stay still and lazy because tasks that seem big feel really hard to do. For example, the task of writing a 5,000-word paper makes the brain panic. Oh, there's so much. How do we start? In the end, we end up watching videos of cats jumping. The point is, inertia makes us feel like the task is a very high mountain, even though if we start from small steps, the mountain isn't as high as we imagine. So how do we overcome it? Calm down. Next, we'll be given a solution. Now we know that inertia is what makes us stuck, but how do we fight it? The answer starts from small, really small steps, because the hardest part of any activity isn't doing it, but starting it. It's like going for a morning run. The hardest challenge isn't running, but getting up from the comfortable bed. Start small. If you want to write, just write 50 words first. If you want to exercise, move your body for 5 minutes. If you want to tidy up, just clean one corner of the table. When the target is small, the brain doesn't feel intimidated. Often when you start, you just keep going. It feels like, it's already started. Let's continue. The point is, small steps are like the start button that makes the engine run. The important thing is to start it. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Have you ever heard of the 2-minute trick? It sounds trivial, but this is one of the most powerful ways to beat procrastination. The principle is simple. If you feel lazy, start trying to do the task for just 2 minutes. Yes, just 2 minutes. Write for 2 minutes. Clean up for 2 minutes. Exercise by jumping for 2 minutes. The logic is this. 2 minutes is so short that the brain can't refuse. We think, it's only 2 minutes. How can it not be possible? But the amazing thing is that after 2 minutes, we often continue. Why? Because after starting, momentum builds, and the brain wants to continue. It's like pushing a ball. At first it's heavy, but once it starts moving, it becomes easier. If you stop after 2 minutes, it's okay because the point here is to start first, not to be perfect straight away. The key is not to focus on the end result, just think about starting now. Have you ever pushed a car that broke down? At first it's really heavy, but once it starts moving, pushing it becomes lighter. This is exactly what's explained by the principles of physics. Objects in motion tend to stay in motion. Procrastination is like a car breaking down. The first start is really heavy, but once you push it, momentum forms. Our brain seems to say, let's start again. After 5 minutes of exercise, we want to continue for 15 minutes. After cleaning the table, we end up cleaning the whole room. The secret is to start small and let the momentum take over. Don't rely on strong willpower because motivation goes up and down. What's important is to give that initial push. Now that we know a small push can overcome inertia and create momentum, how do we use this principle in real life? Here are some examples. Sports. Don't think you have to go straight to the gym for 2 hours. Start with just 5 minutes of stretching or planking. Once you start moving, you'll feel enthusiastic to continue. Work. If you have a big project, don't panic. Start by writing a paragraph or putting together a small idea. As you type, the brain starts to get hot, and other ideas flow on their own. Social relationships. If you want to reconnect with old friends, don't think you have to have a long chat. Just start with a short message like, "Hey, how are you?" and see how the conversation goes. The key to growth is to start with super simple steps. Don't focus on the end result, which can be overwhelming. The important thing is to start first. This principle applies to all aspects of life. Whether you want to manage finances, write a book, or learn a new skill. Start small and continue. Who would have thought that small steps could make big changes? Remember the legendary quote by Martin Luther King? "You don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step." Big achievements are like building a wall. Every small step is a brick that makes the wall stronger. It may seem like there's no big progress today, but believe me, every small step that's consistent will change your life slowly. Remember, the important thing is to start with small steps today. If this is repeated continuously, it will lead to amazing changes in the future. So, what's your first small step today? Thank you for watching. Don't forget to click the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment below. We really appreciate every bit of support from you. Have a nice day and see you in the next video.